Okay, perfect. That's great then. So yeah, thank you very much for having me. It's really nice to be here. Joining you virtually from the cold and windy UK at the moment. I'm Katie. So I'm one of the regional managers here at Loughborough University with responsibility for Southeast Asia. So I do come out to Thailand sometimes. We've actually got some colleagues that are out there at the moment, but I'm traveling out to Singapore and Indonesia, so doing a slightly different part of the world. What we're going to go through today is just a little bit of introductions to Loughborough University, so you can get to know us and know what programs we offer and a little bit of a feel for the campus. As I said, I'm your regional manager, so any contact and any problems that you have, any things that you need further help with, I'll be the main person that you can call on for that. We're also going to go through the location of Loughborough and Loughborough London, so we've got two campuses. I'm going to talk about the top quality education that you can get. We'll talk about employability as well, because I know that's very important. It may seem quite a far way off for some of you. You know, you're just thinking about coming to study at university, but it is the next thing that you really would need to be thinking about. So giving you some options about what we can offer you in terms of employability, the student experience we have at Loughborough. I'll briefly touch on entry requirements and scholarships, but there's obviously lots of different things that we accept, so we can always help you with that in more detail later, and then give you some information about how to find out more. So just going back to basics. So Loughborough is quite an old institution. It's not one of the oldest in the UK, but it's still pretty old. So it was founded back in 1909 and we became a university in 1966. We've got a large number of staff and students from overseas, so over 20,000 people on the campus are from overseas, and we do have two campuses. So I'll talk a little bit more about that in a while. We are top 10 as well, so we've got good rankings. So we're consistently in the top 10 by overall ranking, but also for individual subject areas as well. So it's always worth checking that. We are a multidisciplinary university, so we offer lots of different courses, and I will be kind of running through all of our different programs later. So as I mentioned, we do have two campuses. So we've got one university, so it's still all Loughborough University, but we have two different locations. So the main campus is in Loughborough, which is the darker blue dot here, which is right in the centre of England. And then the second campus is down in London, which obviously I'm sure a lot of you know London, the capital city of the UK. It's a purpose-built just for postgraduate students, so it's slightly different. The Loughborough campus offers the full range of courses, right from foundation up to PhD, whereas the London campus is only taught masters and some PhD study as well. So it's quite a different vibe. You can probably quite quickly know which one you might gel towards when you kind of have a look at the kind of atmosphere and also the courses as well. So we'll tell you a bit about the courses. So where's Loughborough? It's probably one of the most difficult words that you're going to say as well. So a lot of people get put off by Loughborough because of there's so many vowels, but it is actually very easy to say, just kind of two syllables, Loughborough, and that's basically it. But you may not have heard of us before. We are a small market town. I'm not from Loughborough originally, and I didn't know much about it myself until I started working here. But it's a beautiful place beautiful part of the country, lots of countryside around. There's lots to do for the students as well when they're with us. But we are also located quite close to big cities as well. So the Loughborough itself is quite small, just a small market town, but then we are nearer to big cities like Nottingham, Leicester, Derby, even Birmingham. I live right next to Birmingham and I work at Loughborough, so I do that journey every day. We have good transport links as well. So when you're coming to study with us, we always encourage you to make the most of your time with us, so you can travel around and see other parts of the country. We are right in the centre, got our own train station. So it makes it very easy for students if they want to travel around. So this is you can tell actually from the black and white, it's a very old photo. And this was what the campus looked like back in sort of 1909, around that time when it was first established. These two buildings are still there. So I'll show you on a more up-to-date picture. And those two buildings are actually still there. Over in the corner, you'll see sort of the similarities. So we have certainly grown a lot since the first photo. We are now one of the largest campuses in the UK. So we are really a good placed location for students to come and study. The campus now, you can see on here, this is our campus in Loughborough. It's got everything you need. Lots of sports facilities are actually integrated into the facilities as well. Your academic facilities, accommodation, everything is here on this particular site. I've popped in a campus map as well, and this is actually accessible via our website, but it's just to show you all of the different things that we have on the campus. So all those different dots, there might be some accommodation, there might be some lecture theatres and stuff like that, and so that's just all available on the campus itself. Loughborough is very much a campus university, so everyone based on this site, and in all honesty, it's probably one of the only very true campus universities, because we even have all of our accommodation on campus as well. And students will generally stay in accommodation for quite a long time as well, so they'll often stay throughout the 3 or 4 years of their course. So in terms of the campus facilities, this is obviously a really big important part of transferring to your life in the UK. You're going to be in a different country, you're going to be in a different city, so it's good to know that you've got everything you need on your doorstep. As I said, Loughborough is a campus, so everything that you need is there. Got medical centre, opticians, dentist, pharmacy. We've got over 7,000 student accommodation rooms available. And we do guarantee that for at least the first year of study, if you're coming for undergraduate, and we do also have postgraduate accommodation as well. The campus accommodation is a really good standard, all single bedrooms, you don't have to share with anyone else. And then you usually have a shared kitchen, bathroom, which is quite nice. You have a very nice social activities around there as well. We have shops on the campus, we have cafes, restaurants, bars and nightclubs. We will have, just starting next week, will be our week. And that's going to be lots of activities for students to get settled in. So that could be you in a couple of years' time. We've also got really good world-leading sports facilities. So Loughborough is very well known for sport, both as an academic discipline, but also for our competitive sports. So we have a lot of athletes, quite senior athletes, that will come to us to train. To use our campuses, and we have lots of different sporting events, so it's certainly something that you can get involved in. We also have loads and loads of study spaces around campus as well. You obviously, a lot of you will bring your laptop with you, so you can use that pretty much anywhere you go, but we do have lots of study spaces as well, within the library, within the different computer hubs, so you can go and do that kind of independent study. Okay, I'm just going to try and play this quick video. Let me just check that my computer sound is shared. Okay, so I'll just play this video now. Okay, so hopefully that gave you a little bit of a flavour for the university. I'm just going to try and move on from this one. Sorry. Just going to stop sharing and share again because it just doesn't look like that one. So I'm just going to go down to this slide here. Okay, so just talking a little bit about our achievements. We are very good in the rankings, and rankings are important. So it's something that's good for you to look at just to get a benchmark for the university. So where is the university placed overall? Where is your subject area? So in terms of the UK rankings, we're consistently in the top 10. That's something that we're proud of. It's something that we obviously try hard to keep every year. So we're quite pleased that we've had that for a very long time. We've also got lots of strong QS rankings as well. So individual sport rankings, individual subject rankings, sorry. Sport is the one that stands out. So we're #1 in the world for sport related programs. So that's things like sports science, but also sports management and stuff like that as well. We are top 50 for art and design. We're in top 100 for communications and media, top 150 for business studies, and also top 200 for chemical engineering as well. So this is the world rankings that we're talking about now. It's also good to look at other things like student satisfaction rates and stuff like that as well. I always think that, you know, current students that are on the programme, they are the best people to tell you whether they're enjoying it or not. So we will often ask them to get involved and tell you a little bit more about what they thought of the university. So student satisfaction rates are always very high with Loughborough. In terms of other achievements, we are an active research university as well. So we're not part of the Russell Group, but we are a research intensive institution. We get a lot of funds to carry out research, and a lot of our research will be classed as either world leading or internationally excellent. We've got really good facilities as well, so we're always renovating them. So whenever you come onto campus, particularly in the summer holidays, there's always some sort of new project to renovate some buildings. But really good facilities, especially accommodation. As I mentioned, all single bedrooms, you don't have to share with anyone, and really clean, efficient accommodation as well. We're really good for student experience. So again, that's something that we quite pride ourselves on. Because it's a good way to kind of track our if we've got good student experience, it means that the students are enjoying their time with us as well. Oh, sorry, just go back. We're also, as I mentioned before, really well known for sports. And that's not just for our academics, but also for our students that play sports against other people. So we've been in the British Universities and Colleges League, so the Bucks, we've been unbeaten for 42 years running, so it's a very long time. And the other thing to think about as well is employability, and like I said before, it may seem a long way off, but it is a really obviously important part of your application process, is to think about a university that's going to be able to offer you the next step in terms of your career. You know, are they going to be able to give you the type of job that you want? What kind of things can you do whilst you're on the course? So these are all the things that we would encourage you to check. Just to quickly run through the departments, I haven't listed all of the courses here because there's too many of them, but these are all of our schools and departments. In terms of start dates, our main campus, which is the Loughborough campus, has just one start date per year, which is October. And then our Loughborough London campus, which is located in London, surprise, surprise, has two start dates, which is October. So that's just passed. And then we also have another start date in January. So if any of you are thinking about coming for this year and you want to make it in January, you still do have time to get in applications, but that is specifically for the Loughborough London campus. So in terms of the courses that we offer, we have quite a focus on sort of science engineering. We've got mechanical, electrical and manufacturing engineering, aeronautical, automotive, chemicals and materials engineering. We have our School of Architecture, building and civil engineering. We also have a School of Science. Then very closely related to that, we've got things like School of Social Sciences and Humanities, which is where the business school will be based. We've also got the School of Sport and Exercise Science, and then finally the School of Design and Creative Arts as well. And then I've touched on Loughborough London. As I mentioned before, Loughborough London is purely a postgrad campus. So there's no undergraduate students there, so just postgraduate programs. So it's a slightly different experience. But a lot of you will probably like that opportunity to maybe study in London. Just to make you aware, you can apply to more than one course. So say, for example, you like a course at Loughborough and also a course at Loughborough London, you are able to apply to more than one programme, and there are some similarities between them. We're a comprehensive university, so we offer all programmes right from foundation. So if any of you are maybe studying Thai local qualifications, you may have to do a foundation year with us to get you right up to the right standard. If you're doing A-levels or IB, you can come into us directly without doing any extra qualification, as long as you get the right grades. And then for postgraduate study, it depends on which university you're coming from and the GPA sort of grading system. But in general, usually around 3.0 GPA is about okay. And then IELTS is also needed for our courses as well. And pretty much all of our courses are 6.5 with no less than 6 in any bands. There's a few that will ask for a 7. So do check that when you get your offer letter through to make sure you've got the right criteria. We're also awarded Gold again in the Teaching Excellence Framework. So it just shows the quality of our teaching. And again, this is something that's reviewed. So you don't just get this and then get to keep it. We have to review it on a regular basis. So also research and innovation. So as I mentioned, some of you may know a little bit about the Russell Group, which is a group of research intensive universities in the UK. People often misunderstand that if you're not part of the Russell Group, that you're not a research intensive university, but that's not the case. So Loughborough is very research intensive. We have research going on by our academics all throughout the year. We also contribute to policy, government as well, because we're doing sort of very large scale projects. We did a lot of research around the kind of the living wage for people to live on, how much money do people need to live on. And all of that was kind of provided to government. So the students can get involved in this when they're doing the programmes as well then. So moving on to a little bit about careers and employability. As I mentioned, it is a really important thing to think about. We want you to come and do the best course that you can ever do. You know, we want you to study, have a good experience. But our main aim as a university is to prepare you then to go on to a job afterwards. So there's lots of different ways we can do that. For our undergraduate courses, we do offer a placement year on every single course. So if you're coming to study any of our undergraduate courses, you can choose to do that placement year. Majority of courses, it's optional, but we do strongly recommend it. It just is another way to kind of make yourself stand out by doing something different. We also do something called the Personal Best Award. So you can have develop a portfolio of your own, can highlight your knowledge, expertise and skills, and then obviously you can showcase that to employers. We offer one-to-one careers advice as well. So if you want to sit down and have a discussion with one of the careers advisors, they can talk you through the different types of jobs that you might be considering. We do have a huge careers fair on campus as well. So that's an opportunity for you to get out and meet employers and just find out about the kind of different vacancies that are available. There is possibility to do a study abroad as well. So if you didn't want to do maybe the work placement, but you wanted to go to a different country to get some experience during that extra year, we do have lots of links with study abroad providers across the world. So that could be in an English speaking country, or you may want to go to somewhere like Singapore or Hong Kong. We've got lots of different partnerships that we can let you choose from. So again, some rankings around the employability. We are second in the UK for job prospects. 100% of our undergraduate courses offer a year-long placement. Like I say, it's optional for most, but it's there. We are top 100 in the world for graduate employability. And we also have lots and lots and lots of vacancies that we will show to you. So there's over 9,000 vacancies that we were advertising in the last academic year. So there's plenty of opportunity for students to get jobs. In terms of the Loughborough student experience, we always say when you join Loughborough, you become part of the Loughborough family. And we put it here, it's cheesy, but it's true. And it really is. It's very much a close-knit environment. Because it's a campus and everyone's studying there, you see each other a lot. So it does very much feel like you're coming to part of a community, which is quite different to maybe some other universities. You've got lots of choice of universities. I know you're not just going to be considering Loughborough, but it's good to think about what you want in terms of a university. Loughborough's got everything you need on that one site. So if you really didn't want to leave the campus, you wouldn't have to, because everything's there for you. It's a good atmosphere as well for study as well. So a lot of students do like that because they're on the campus, so they're not too far away from the library. You know, bigger universities, maybe in a city centre, you could spend quite a lot of your time travelling around just in between sort of appointments. Whereas Loughborough campus is walkable. We have our own buses as well, that take you around the campus. If it's a rainy day or something like that, or you just don't want to walk so far, you can just jump on the bus and that's free of charge. We've got the Students' Union as well. So that's run by students for students, and they do lots of clubs and societies that you can join up to. 170 different ones in total. And that's a good way for you to kind of enhance your profile again. So maybe something that's not directly related to your course, but you could join up to a different club or society that's still going to give you that opportunity to have some add-on experience. And there's just a few examples of some of the ones that we've got. So lots and lots of different types of clubs and societies that you can join up to. And you can actually even set up your own. So if there's something that's missing from there that you think, oh, I would really like to have that, you can also set it up as well with the support of the university. So I touched briefly on halls. Halls of residence or student accommodation is, again, going to be a massive part of your university experience. We understand it's probably one of the most daunting things you could ever do, move to a different side of the world to study. So we try and make that transition as easy as possible for you. Particularly at students at undergraduate level, a lot of them will stay for the full duration of their degree, but we do guarantee it for at least the first 2 years. And then they will be able to choose what they would like, whether they want ensuite, whether they want shared bathroom, whether they want catered or just to cook for themselves. There's ranges to suit everyone. The only accommodation that we don't have much of on campus is family accommodation. So if any of you are thinking about coming with your family members, you may just need to think about living off campus, but we have some support around that as well. So we have our own kind of like estate agents where you can look and see what's available. Sport, you can't talk about Loughborough without talking about sport. They basically go hand in hand. It's great if you love sport and you love playing it, but even if you don't, I personally am not a big sports fan, but I love being on Loughborough campus and seeing different sporting events going on. It's just a very big buzz around it, and there's always something happening. So you can go and watch your friends, maybe if you're not participating yourself. We do obviously have really good sports facilities as well in terms of the different kind of pitches that we've got on campus. We have lots of people using our campus for the training. So we are the home of British Triathlon, we're the home of British Swimming. We've also got the NFL Academy, so people come over and train actually with us in Loughborough to get up ready to play in the NFL. If anyone is thinking about coming as an elite athlete, so if you're playing at a very high level already, maybe for your county or your country, you can look at getting an elite sport scholarship. So we will do our best to kind of award those to you. Okay, and I'm just going to quickly show a short video about the subject rankings. Sorry, it doesn't like. Just going to share it again. Here we go. Okay, so just showing through the different sports that you can take part in. So all of the sports are for either fun or obviously for competitive levels as well. So it's up to you how you would like to play. If you are playing at a competitive level already, we'd be really keen for you to try out and join our teams. But we also love people to just come and use sport as a way of keeping fit and keeping healthy and keeping your mental health good as well. We do also have a huge amount of support for international students like yourselves. As I said before, it's such a big step to move to a different country, come to the other side of the world with different weather and everything, different language. So it's going to be a culture shock for you. And so that's where my team comes in. We will give you as much support as we can to help you with the application process. And then we will also help you with the kind of practicalities of accommodation, pre-departure information. We will usually come out in the summer around sort of June, July, and we will run pre-departure sessions so you can meet all the other students that are joining. If we don't have one in your city, we can do those online as well. Some of you may want to consider a pre-sessional or in-sessional English language. That's also part of our team as well. So if your IELTS is a little bit too low and you just think you're not going to be able to get it up, you can take a pre-sessional course with us, which is potentially a better route in if you are struggling to take the test again. We have our international student advice team as well. So they're basically 24/7 for you to get in touch if you've got any problems, any worries, and they can help you with everything there as well. We have an international network where they'll run lots of different events throughout the year. A lot of students that are international don't necessarily go home for the Christmas period. So we make sure we keep lots of activities going on for you when you're with us. There's also lots of cultural and religious societies as well, so you can join up to those. We celebrate all the different religious festivals at Loughborough. And we have lots of different inclusive events as well. So for example, with Ramadan, we have iftar on campus, which is lovely when everyone comes down and breaks their fast together in the evenings. Just going to leave this one out. Yeah, so in terms of scholarships, we do have a variety of scholarships available. It's always worth double checking our website because we're still finalising those for next year. So always double check the website to see what you're eligible for. The majority of our scholarships are also automatically considered. So you'll see that it mentions here 20% merit-based scholarship on achieving a first class. So that will automatically go onto your application. Same for the UG. So if you get certain grades in your undergraduate studies, you will also be eligible for a UG foundation as well, UG scholarship as well. We do also have some foundation scholarships. So there are lots of different ones available. You can see from the figures here, the majority of the scholarships are partial scholarships. So between sort of 10 to 20%. But obviously every little helps, and it's a good way to get a little bit of reduction off your tuition fee. In terms of the fees, the tuition fees probably range between about £22,000 to £27,000. So at the top end, it is a bit more of an expensive course. And the reason for that is the quality of the education that you're getting, the fact that we are a research intensive university. We have industry-led programs as well. As I mentioned, the scholarships, there are some PGT scholarships that go up to 90%, but you would have to check your eligibility. I know we're doing this to Thailand today, but there may be some other international students. So do check your eligibility for the scholarships as well. And then accommodation fees. So generally fees will range from about 4,000 up to 8,000. So it's quite a range, depending on your kind of what you want, what you need, that kind of will be suited. You can choose something that's suitable for your own needs. Living costs are significantly cheaper as well in Loughborough than in the city, but we are close to big cities as well. So if you did want to go, it's easy to travel around. There's also opportunities to get some part-time work, and that's something we strongly encourage, whether it's becoming an ambassador and giving campus tours to new students, or whether you want to do something else in a bar or a restaurant. There's plenty of jobs, and it's a good way to get a little bit of extra money and also a nice experience. So coming to the foundation pathways, this is another thing to mention, is that we do offer a foundation pathways with Cambridge Education Group, or CEG. So if you are studying the local Thai high school system and you really want to come to Loughborough, this is the best way in. So you will do 1 year with us on our Cambridge Education Group Foundation, and then you will move on to the Loughborough degree. It's possible to progress on to any of our undergraduate degrees. So as long as you're taking the right stream, you'll see the streams are kind of listed here. Then you can progress on to any of the undergraduate degrees. There's certain progression grades, which I've listed here as well. But generally, the success on that is pretty high. Okay, so just to do a little bit of a recap, and then we'll go into questions. Why would you consider Loughborough? So I would say because we're top 10 in all of the national league tables. We've got lots and lots of rankings for our subjects in the top, in number 1 or in the top 200. Our campus is our real big selling point, and I think that's the thing that students will always say that they love about the Loughborough campus, is that we've got a beautiful campus, very green. Is also the employability is something we're extremely proud of as well, which can help students get a little bit more experience when they're with us, maybe doing some internships and stuff like that as well. We also have, as I mentioned before, the placements for every UG student, and we also have the best student experience as well. So we've been rated that for quite some time. Okay, so that's it in terms of the presentation. I'm going to stop sharing my screen now, and then hopefully we can see if there's some questions come in.
Thank you so much, Katie. This is very useful information. สำหรับน้องๆท่านใดที่มีคำถามเพิ่มเติมนะครับเกี่ยวกับในส่วนตัวมหาลัยหรือในส่วนตัวคอร์สเรียนหรือว่าในส่วนของเรื่องของ scholarship ที่เคที่พรีเซนต์ไปเมื่อสักครู่อาจจะแบบว่าเผื่อแบบว่าคำอัพในส่วนตัว question in mind เนี่ยคือสอบถามได้นะครับสามารถเปิด speaker ในการสอบถามก็ได้นะครับหรือว่าจะพิมพ์คำถามไว้ใน chat box ก็ได้นะครับผมมีคำถามไหมครับสอบถามได้นะครับน้องๆท่านใดมีคำถามไหมครับสอบถามได้นะครับผม Um, I thought they are shy or like they don't have the question in mind right now. But I have a question regarding
Okay.
the application timeline for January for Loughborough London campus.
Yeah.
When the application timeline gonna be open?
So it's already open, so they can
Yep.
actually apply already. And then usually, I think it's by the end of November is the latest that we can receive applications. So
Okay.
they've probably got just a couple of months now that they'll still be able to submit. And then the start date will be middle of January. So end of November is the last cutoff for applying for a January start date.
Thank you. น้องๆท่านใดมีคำถามเพิ่มเติมไหมครับผมสอบถามได้นะ Anyone who got the question, feel free to ask the question.
I will just put my email address in the chat box as well. So if anyone has any questions later, they can always just follow up with me.
Yep, that would be good. สอบถามเพิ่มเติมได้นะครับ ยังเหลือในส่วนของตัวไทม์ไลน์ของในส่วนของตัวเว็บบินาร์อยู่นะครับจนถึง6 โมงนะครับน้องๆท่านใดที่มีคำถามเพิ่มเติมสามารถสอบถามได้นะครับผม Katie, there's one student was asking about like the chance and opportunity chance. How many percentage that the student can do an internship after they complete the course? โทษนะครับน้องเฉินอันนี้หมายถึงปอตรีหรือปอโทครับ
So the internships are available on every single course at undergraduate level. So students
Okay.
can do a placement year.
Yeah.
Sometimes at postgraduate level, there is opportunity, but it's not kind of integrated in the same way. Because obviously
Yep.
they're only here for a year. But yeah, for every undergraduate program, if they want, they can do that placement year. Or they can do an exchange as well. So there's opportunities for them to kind of get some added value to their degree.
I think they was asking about the postgrad level. I tried to ask like,
Yeah, so for postgrad, there's not really the sort of internships or placements as part of the course because obviously it's such a tight program anyway. But there are lots of opportunities to engage with employers. So sometimes students will do that via their project, for example. So always doing a dissertation as part of that. So even though you're not necessarily working for the company, you may be gathering data with them, putting together some sort of marketing proposal or something like that. So you will have exposure to companies as well, even on the postgraduate studies when you're only here for a short amount of time.
Yeah, thank you. I think they mean like I think the student means like maybe the postgraduate study, I think.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we help them with after postgraduate study as well. We will also help them with that kind of long-term career goals and where do they want to work. That's all something that we provide assistance with as well. But for the undergraduate students, if they want to do the placement year, it's kind of integrated. Whereas master's students, we have a couple that have some sort of placement, but usually it's just a 12-month program, but there is opportunity to do your research or collaboration with the projects around that as well.
Okay, thank you. The other question, do you have any special requirement for January intake? What may I ask?
No,
Yeah.
so no difference. It's exactly the same. So as long as they apply before that sort of November deadline, they can be considered for the January start date. Is it exactly the same? So apply in the same way and submit your documentation in the same time as well. And probably latest to get your CAS is middle of December. So just be aware of that kind of time frame if you do want to come in the January start date.
Yep. Thank you. มีน้องๆท่านไหนต้องการสอบถามคำถามเพิ่มเติมไหมครับ สามารถสอบถามเพิ่มเติมได้นะครับผม อันนี้ไม่ทราบว่าคุณเฉินมีคำถามเพิ่มเติมไหมครับเกี่ยวกับในส่วนของตัว and opportunity ในเรื่องของตัวการทำงานหลังเรียนจบอะครับสามารถสอบถามได้นะครับหรือถ้าเหตุที่อธิบายแล้วไม่เข้าใจเนี่ยก็คือผมสามารถอธิบายเป็นภาษาไทยได้เช่นกันนะครับอ๋อได้ครับ Okay, I gonna answer. I gonna translate the thing that you was answering to the student in
Okay,
Thai
sure, no
before.
problem.
Yep, yep. โอเคก็จากที่เคที่เขาอธิบายให้ฟังครับตอบในส่วนตัวคำถามเนอะอ่าในส่วนของตัวปริญญาตรีส่วนใหญ่มันจะมีในส่วนของตัว internship package include ในส่วนตัว the course นะครับส่วนถ้าเป็นในส่วนตัวปิดคอร์สเรียนปริญญาโทเนี่ยในส่วนของตัวคอร์สเรียนปริญญาโทส่วนใหญ่แล้วเนี่ยจะไม่ได้มีในส่วนของตัวการฝึกงานมา add on ในส่วนตัวคอร์สเรียนแต่ว่า an opportunity ในเรื่องของตัวการทำงานของน้องๆนักศึกษาต่างชาตินะครับก็คือน้องหลังจากที่น้องเรียนจบเนี่ยน้องจะสามารถ apply ในส่วนตัว post study work visa ได้นะครับก็คือสามารถอยู่ต่อเพื่อหางานทำที่นู่นได้อีก2 ปีนะครับเพราะฉะนั้นเนี่ยในส่วนตัว opportunity ในเรื่องของการทำงาน percentage ในเรื่องของการทำงานเนี่ยมันก็เบสจากในส่วนตัวสายงานของน้องที่น้องสนใจจะ apply ด้วยแล้วก็เบสจากในส่วนตัวโปรไฟล์ของน้องด้วยนะครับแล้วก็แต่ว่าทั้งนี้ทั้งนั้นเนี่ยในส่วนตัวLoughborough University เนี่ยเขาก็จะมีในส่วนตัวทีมซัพพอร์ตที่เป็นในส่วนตัว Career Service Support นะครับที่ช่วยน้องๆที่เรียนที่มหาลัยเขานะครับผมอ่าในการที่แบบว่าไกด์ในเรื่องของตัวการทำ CV การแอพพลายในส่วนของตัวการหางานที่นู่นนะครับผมยินดีครับน้องๆท่านไหนมีคำถามเพิ่มเติมสามารถสอบถามได้นะครับ Anyone who got more question feel free to ask มีใครมีคำถามเพิ่มเติมไหมครับสามารถสอบถามได้นะ Another question from the student. Can you wait for an IELTS for
Oh,
international
okay.
program rating?
So no, we can't waive it, but there is a possibility that they could maybe do like if they haven't quite got the right score, they can
Yep.
come and do like a pre-sessional course with us. So
Mm.
we have to have a minimum English language qualification. So most courses that's 6.5. So if that's your condition, that's what you would need to achieve to complete that condition.
Okay.
The other option is if you didn't want to take the IELTS again, is you could come and do the pre-sessional course. So we have different lengths, kind of 10 weeks, 12 weeks, 16 weeks, depending on the level that the student is at. And then at the end of that, they just do an internal university test, not an external IELTS exam.
Which you have two options for the student to take pre-sectional, right? on
Yes,
campus and online. Yep. If the student
moment,
doesn't
yeah,
want to travel
yeah,
to study in the UK, they can select it for to do the online pre-sectional. So it's
that's
gonna be
correct. Yeah,
better for the cost of living as well.
yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Yep. Thank you. น้องๆท่านอื่นมีคำถามเพิ่มเติมไหมครับสอบถามได้นะครับ Okay. What is the score requirement? Another question for master degree. What is the score requirement for an IELTS? Should be 6.5, no better than 6.0, right?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, yeah. So
Mhm.
pretty much all of the courses are 6.5 overall with no less than 6 in any of the bands. There's a couple that are exception, some of the business courses that might ask for a 7,
Yeah.
but it will be clearly stated in your offer letter the exact
Yep.
grade that we'll be looking for.
Yep. Another question. Where is Loughborough, London located?
So Loughborough is in London, which is obvious as from the name,
Mm.
but obviously London's very large. So it's actually it's sort of just north of London in a place called Stratford. It's where there's a big Olympic Park was there, which is one of the reasons why we decided to have the Loughborough campus there because of the sporting link. And there's a purpose-built campus there, so it's shared with some other universities as well.
Mm.
It's a lot smaller, but it's a really good experience. It's got really good links with industry as well.
Yep.
There's a big shopping centre nearby called Westfield Shopping Centre. So it's a very good environment and lots of nice bars and restaurants and stuff like that around the university.
น้องๆท่านอื่นมีคำถามเพิ่มเติมไหมครับ สอบถามได้นะครับ ถ้าน้องๆยังคิดคำถามไม่ออกนะวันนี้นะครับก็คือในส่วนของตัวในแชทบ็อกซ์อะครับเคที่ได้ลีฟในส่วนตัวอีเมลไว้ให้แล้วนะครับผมเผื่อแบบว่ามีคำถาม come up in my in the ในอนาคตก็คือสามารถ contact เคที่ได้เช่นกันนะครับ หรือประมาณช่วงเดือนหน้าครับประมาณวันที่25ครับเคที่ก็จะบินมาไทยนะครับมาร่วมงานในส่วนตัวงานของ SIUK Fair Katie, if the student doesn't have the question today, they can also, if they have the question in the future, like they can come to see you at SIUK Fair next month,
Of
right?
course, yeah, no problem at all. We will travel out a couple of times a year. So I'm not coming to Thailand until probably in January, but my colleague Lewis is coming back there in September, in October. So
Okay.
yeah, plenty of opportunity for you to speak to us at other times. We'd be most happy to communicate either by text, by email, or we can also chat on Zoom or something like that if more preferable.
That was good. Thank you. น้องๆท่านไหนมีคำถามเพิ่มเติมไหมครับ ถ้าไม่มีเซสชันใกล้ปิดแล้วนะครับผม มีไหมเอ่ย Oh, okay. The no น้องเมธวัฒน์อันนี้หมายถึงในตัวเมืองลอนดอนหรือว่าในตัวเมืองลาฟลาครับผมแล้วก็สนใจในส่วนของตัวคอร์สเรียนอันไหนเอ่ยเพราะว่าโดยปกติในส่วนตัวมหาลัยเนี่ยจะมีแคมปัสอยู่2 ที่นะครับอยู่ที่หนึ่งก็จะอยู่ในส่วนของตัวเมืองลาฟลาซิตี้นะครับอีกที่หนึ่งก็จะอยู่ในเมืองลอนดอนนะครับสนใจเป็นมาสเตอร์โอเคสนใจมาสเตอร์ทางด้านไหนครับสาขาไหนเอ่ยพอมีดีไหมครับโอเคokay. Another question from the student related for an incoming how much that he gonna earn for if he do like some kind of like part-time job in the UK?
Yeah, so it depends on what kind of job you do. But most of the jobs that we kind of offer around the university or maybe within in the town centre, you're probably going to be looking at up to about sort of £10 an hour. So obviously, if you're doing sort of maybe 20 hours a week, you can get a decent amount of pay then. We tend to say to students just to see how they feel. We do encourage some part-time work, but obviously they need to fit it around their studies. And it's a maximum of 20 hours per week. We have a job shop and a jobs fair in the first couple of weeks when students arrive.
Yep.
So they can go and they can have a look and see if there's any part-time jobs that they'd be interested in taking up. And then that's a good way of them just getting a little bit of experience. A lot of the jobs are very flexible. So if you perhaps have some extra work 1 week, you can kind of do a little bit less shifts and stuff like that to make it more flexible around your working patterns as well.
Thank you. ก็ประมาณ10 ปอนด์ต่อชั่วโมงนะครับน้องเมธวัฒน์ซึ่งในส่วนของตัวเบสจากในส่วนของตัว permission ของ student visa ครับก็คือสามารถทำงานได้20 ชั่วโมงต่อสัปดาห์นะครับผมก็ในส่วนตัว10 ปอนด์ต่อสัปดาห์เนี่ยก็คือมันเบสจากในส่วนของตัวสายงานที่เราทำในตัวงานพาร์ทไทม์ด้วยนะครับแต่ว่าในส่วนของตัว10 ปอนด์เนี่ยก็คือที่แค่ยกตัวอย่างในส่วนของตัวถ้าเราทำงานในรั้ววิทยาเขตของตัวมหาลัยนะครับผมเพราะฉะนั้นเนี่ยคือถ้าเป็นในส่วนตัวสายงานอื่นก็อาจจะได้มากขึ้นแต่ว่าก็มันขึ้นอยู่กับสายงานที่เราจะไปทำตอนช่วงการทำงานพาร์ทไทม์นะครับผม approximate ก็จะอยู่ที่ประมาณ10 ถึง 15 ปอนด์ต่อชั่วโมงครับ มีน้องๆท่านไหนมีคำถามเพิ่มเติมไหมครับสามารถสอบถามได้นะเหลืออีก5 นาทีนะครับเซสชันจะปิดแล้วนะหรือถ้าวันนี้ยังคิดคำถามไม่ออกนะครับสามารถไปเจอในส่วนตัวคอลลีกของเคที่ได้นะครับลูวิสจะมาจอยงาน SIUK Fair ในวันศุกร์ที่25 ตุลาคมนะครับที่โรงแรมเซนต์ลีจิสนะครับตรง BTS ลาดดำริงานจะเริ่มตั้งแต่เวลาบ่าย 3 ถึง 1 ทุ่มสะดวกเข้างานเวลาไหนก็ได้ก่อน 1 ทุ่มนะครับก็จะได้พบในส่วนตัวเจ้าหน้าที่ของลับล่าตัวเป็นๆเลยสามารถ ถามอัพในส่วนของตัวสอบถามข้อมูลในเรื่องของตัวมหาลัยหรือในส่วนของตัวหลักสูตรคอร์สเรียนนะครับไม่ว่าจะเป็น entry requirement หรือว่าจะเป็นในเรื่องของตัวdetail in depth ต่างๆในเรื่องของตัวหลักสูตรสามารถcome to join ได้นะครับ I think they don't have the any more question right now.
That's okay. And my email address is still in the chat box. So if anyone wants to
Yep.
get in touch with me, that's absolutely fine.
Yep.
But otherwise, thank you to everyone for joining and thank you for hosting Summit as well.
Yeah, thank you so much for today as well. Your presentation is quite helpful. I'm sure that and most of the audience who had attended an event today will know more about Loughborough University, such as the course, the atmosphere, and how to get there, and opportunity to study in UK. Thank you so much for today. That very
No
helpful.
problem at all.
Yep.
Lovely to be here. See you again next time.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.